In section 4, we're going to learn about something that's probably new to you called a logarithm. Now, maybe you've heard that phrase before, but I don't think you would have actually done this in your math classes yet. If you're in chemistry, I don't know if you would have gotten to this yet, but you'll need to know how to use logarithms because eventually when you do something with pH, the equations that you'll use to calculate pH of things uses logarithms. So you're going to have a hard time in chemistry if you don't get these, okay? So don't just do this lesson and then forget about them. You'll need them down the road, and Dr. Schmidt won't be happy when you don't know how to do logarithms. Okay, so something new called logarithms. So let's look and see what those are. To get the idea of logarithms, we're going to kind of compare it to other operations, because a logarithm is just going to be an operation that we use when dealing with exponentials. But let's look at this a little bit. When we have an equation like x minus 3 equals 4, we solve that by undoing this subtraction. Right? We undo x minus 3 by adding 3 to both sides. Or when we have an equation that's x squared equals 9, we undo that squaring by taking a square root of both sides. Okay? So what about in an exponential equation? And this is kind of what this whole chapter is getting us towards, is solving exponential and logarithmic equations. What if we have an exponential? How do we undo that? Well, in this case, 2 to the x equals 8. So 2 to what power gives us 8? That's easy to figure out. We know that that's 3. 2 to the third is 8. But what about a case where it doesn't work out nicely? So here we have 2 to the x equals 10. Well, it's not 3 and it's not 4. 2 to the fourth gets us to 16. So it's somewhere between 3 and 4. But we need some operation to help us out with that. And this is where logarithms are going to come in. A logarithm is an operation that will help us undo this operation in an equation like this. So when we're dealing with an exponential, we have some base raised to a power equals some number. So a base times itself however many times, and that gives us some value. So what if we know what our base is, and we know what our value is on this side, and we want to know what the exponent would be? So that's what a logarithm will tell us. So here's the notation for a logarithm, and it takes two numbers to evaluate a logarithm. So we're going to have log base b, so that's whatever the base of our exponent is, log base b of y, and that's the number that we end up at, equals the exponent. So when we see log base b of y, it's saying b to what power gives us y. Okay, so here's the base of our exponent. What power, what exponent gives us this value? So let's look at some really simple examples. So here we have log base 2 of 2. So this operation is asking us, and is equivalent to, 2 to what power gives us 2? So 2 to what power is 2? The first power, right? If we see log base 2 of 4, that's asking us 2 to what power is 4? So 2 to what power is 4? 2 to the second is 4. All right, in our last example there, we have log base 2 of 8, so that's asking 2 to what power would give us an 8? That's 3, right? 2 to the third is 8. So this should hopefully give you just a pretty basic idea of what a logarithm is. In this section, we're just going to be doing more practice with what is the logarithm, and we're going to evaluate some pretty simple logs. Okay, we're not going to do anything with solving equations with them yet. Just getting used to what they are to start out with.